Do you know why we have the same conversations over and over again in sneakers? It's a few reasons. One, we keep buying the same shoes because they keep releasing the same shoes over and over again. Those are called retros. And I'm not, absolved from this. I've certainly purchased retros in my time. Okay. You like what you like, you buy what you like. Hopefully that's what you're continuing to follow even in 2025. And yes, I'm outside. Okay. I said, hey, let's get out and touch grass. So I'm outside making the effort, trying to be out here before it warms up, because I would really love fall to just kick the door in, but it hasn't yet. And I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Okay. So we continue to buy the same shoes over and over again. Therefore, that's partly why we continue to have the same conversations over and over again. If you're talking about a shoe that we talked about 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, then the same conversations are possibly being had. Maybe we're changing a little bit of the perspective and the dynamics may be a little bit different. The economic environment may be different, but we're still at the core having the same conversation. So that's one reason why we continue to do that. I think the second reason is that there's only so much we can talk about in sneakers. I mean, it's a sneaker, right? I've seen that said, what more would you like sometimes from creators within a certain lane, because you get the shoe in and you do what? You unbox the shoe, you talk about the packaging, you talk about the design, the upper, every little intricate detail on the outsole, the midsole cushioning. Did they update the tech? Is it really a true one-to-one? There's only so much, again, we can talk about when it comes to sneakers. And I love the fashion aspect when any creator decides to bring that in. I think that's really, really important. That's one way to, really add your own personality and what is unique to you. Fashion is always a great way to do that. Just understand everyone won't agree with your style. People certainly don't always agree with mine, and that's fine. I also have just come to realize, maybe don't take criticism personally from someone when it comes to your personal style if you don't already look to them for style inspiration. That's just something to keep in mind. Also, brand new hat. Okay, you see it, upside down Michigan. All right. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. However, I think the other reason we continue to have the same conversations over and over again in sneakers, comprehension. It's not the best. You know who I'm going to blame. You know who I have beef with. Still blaming him. Because I think it is based on people not really comprehending I think it's obvious, but I guess to others it's not obvious. We're going to watch a video in which I said something back in 2022. I think it stands more than ever today. But this person said I'm wrong. Essentially that I'm wrong, that what I said didn't age well. I would argue it aged extremely well. It aged like fine wine. I really do. I think it aged masterfully. I really do. And you guys can let me know, am I wrong? So we're going back to the conversation of the sneaker market, the resale market. All the time we have this conversation, is one or the other dead? We do. We have this conversation. I think we all get tired of having this conversation to a certain extent, because I would just like us to, again, distinguish, I said this back in 2022, the sneaker market and the resale market are not the same. They're not the same thing. Why is that so difficult to comprehend? They're not the same thing. That's what I said back then. So let's just go ahead. We're gonna watch this together, okay? We're gonna watch this together. Now, again, back in 2022, I said this. The sneaker market is not the resale market, okay? If the sneaker market itself were down, then you would see Nike and Adidas and Reebok and Puma suffering, and they're not. They're putting out brand new shoes left and right. Shout out to Brianna Stewart. She has her brand new shoe out. Elena Deladon. Like, they're not suffering. Like, models and new colorways and things are coming out. The sneaker market is not the resale market. We continue to fall into this trap of the very niche community that resells exclusively within sneakers, and that's their only concern. They think of anything that doesn't sell for more than $100 over the retail value of that pair on the secondary market as a brick. This is an amazing time for you. Like, the amount of people in the game globally that are just resellers, you pale in comparison to the actual percentage of us that want to just wear the shoes. I stand on business with what 2022 me said. Also, I love that hairstyle. I loved that hairstyle. It just wasn't the best for my hair. It was a little rough on it with the faux locks, but I love the hairstyle. I really do. And skin was glowing, y'all. But Clearly I was in the sun more. I didn't really get a tan at all this summer. But the resale market and the sneaker market are not the exact same thing. Now, I think it is funny when people, most of you don't care about these brands in terms of like their stock. And it could be because you're not shareholders. It could be because you truly just don't care. The stock numbers that a lot of sneakerheads care about is the stock number of the shoe that's releasing. Is there ample enough quantity for you to have a real chance to get the shoe? That's really all a lot of people care about. And I get it. Like, no shade there. I absolutely get it. You just want your shoe. There are other people though, where like myself, where you may be interested in where is the actual brand going. Now I'm interested because as the largest sportswear brand in the world, that can dictate a lot of what's really happening overall in the industry and what could happen in these adjacent markets and what's really going on with the economy with disposable income if people aren't spending money on something they don't need, like, you know, excess sneakers. That's going to tell a lot. Did I forget randomly? Clearly I forgot to put this phone on. Okay. Goodness. The blooper there. That's going to tell a lot. So I care about it. And yes, I own Nike stock. It's in my portfolio. It's actually, I think, the worst performing stock in my portfolio since 2020. No, just candidly, I think it is the worst performing stock in my portfolio. So I care about that. A lot of people don't care. So yeah, we can say that like their stock is suffering. Nike has struggled to stay above $75 a share. And because tariffs are an issue for Adidas, they are suffering some in the stock. They went from like 120 down to 103, but again, still holding over $100 per share. But I said, hey, I felt sneakers was in a great place because I listed new models coming out. People being able to easily walk into a store, buy the pairs they want, and enjoy them. Is that not the point? And aren't you doing that right now? You were able to walk into a number of sneaker stores and go online to the sneakers app. You were able to buy the Air Jordan 1 shattered backboard. That's something people would not believe if you went back in time in 2018 and told somebody that, they would not believe you. They wouldn't. They would think you've lost your mind. People were able to walk into a store, buy the Air Jordan 5 fire red black tone. People are able to buy so many of the pairs they want. Now, there's always going to be an exception in which some pairs also do hold resale value. Right? Saying a Travis Scott is going to resell, cool. Water is wet. The sky is blue. Grass is green. Except for when it starts to, burn up and then it's brown. But like, we know those things. Those are certain constants we know. We don't need to argue those. If you're really in this, you know that. What was I wrong about in 2022 saying that? Now, if you're someone under the idea that the sneaker market is only thriving or doing well because every single sneaker is selling out and every single sneaker is reselling above $100, that's a reseller perspective. So if that's where you are, then sure, you probably aren't the happiest right now because you're having to hope you can hit on what, like a Vans pair. The Vans buzz is crazy right now. You're having to hope maybe you hit on that. You really are having to hope you hit on this Travis Scott that's going to drop on Saturday to be able to resell that for a nice profit. You have to hope that you can hit on a restock of maybe the Black Metallic 5 to be able to see a nice profit margin there. And that shoe didn't originally sell out like day one within the first few hours. It took a second. And then everyone got them in hand and realized how great they were. And it just kind of took off from there. But I just don't think I was wrong. And I think we started to see the shift in 2022 of pairs being more readily available, the market resetting itself. Everything goes in a cycle. We were just due for a reset. We're due for a reset right now in this country economically, and I think we're going to hit it. It's not going to feel great. I feel like it's going to feel like a 2008 reset, which was devastating, but the market reset itself for sneakers. The only people upset about the current state of things are resellers, I think, or people who place their value, I guess, in sneakers on them being able to have things that others can't. If your respect in this game is based on the resale value of your collection, I'm not even going to go there because someone will get mad about that. But you guys can comment below. Was I wrong? Are you happy with the current state of things right now? I'm sure you've taken some L's. Look, people ignore the fact that I took the devastating L initially on the A1, the pink aura. I took that devastating L. You saw it on camera. I had to sit with that. And then I was eventually able to go into Dick's Sporting Goods, pick up my pair in hand. That's an amazing thing to be able to do. So I'm not mad about that at all. I'm not sure which pairs, the last two for the year, that I'll pick up. I'm still deciding because we are in a great time right now. Look at the buzz around the Ja 3. Look at the buzz around the A1. Look at the buzz around the AE2. We have another signature sneaker dropping with the AR1 this week. This is the launch week for Angel Reese. We're now back in a time where performance sneakers, the actual art of sport and design, that intersection, it's having a moment again that I don't think we've really seen since those Nike basketball days, early 2000s. Who's upset about this right now? When sport does well, I think we're in a great time for sneakers. We have so many lifestyle options. What you want, you can get. What you're interested in, you can get. You want to branch out and try new things, do it. You are going to just need to give yourself permission. Remember, no one's going to give you permission to pivot in sneakers. People will possibly feel some kind of way if you do anything that is in the best interest of you, if it no longer entertains them in the way they want to be entertained. I learned that also this past week. It's been interesting in 2025. And even with some of the less than great comments I get, I really do want to thank you all for the positive commentary, for the feedback, the support. It doesn't go unnoticed at all. I really do appreciate you guys. So again, comment your thoughts below. Was I wrong in 2022? How do you feel about the actual sneaker market right now in 2025? As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.